Usual format for us. Fadimo from Sky will lead us off, Roger from PLP will follow straight afterwards. Anyone else under immediate embargo at that point? There'll be a second section at the end, embargo 10:30 tonight for any newspapers for tomorrow. Cameras give us a nod and we can go. Cameras are happy. Fadimo, off you go.
Thank you. Hey Thomas, how are you?
I'm very fine, very well, thank you. How are you?
Thank you. I wanted to ask immediate reflections after the last game, which was the atmosphere around the camp with the guys. I know we have a rule of like 24 hours celebrating the 24 hours in Western in general, but how was the atmosphere since then?
It was a long 24 hours, let me put it that way. It's always tough to lose, and even more tough to lose 5-1. We spoke about it, we made some big mistakes in that game. It is what it is. I watched the game back and it's never as bad as it look or as good as it look, and it was definitely not as bad. If you look away from, let's say, the 3 big mistakes, 2 clearly individual mistakes from David and Ethan, then our own goal, then they didn't create much. Newcastle in an away game, and I think we started very well, got 1-0 in front, so everything was on track. But it's football, it happened. There's obviously some things we're not pleased with, that we need to adjust and address and move on, and that's what we do. And I'll be very disappointed if he's not coming flying out tomorrow night under the floodlight at home. Really try to be brave, aggressive going forward.
Moving on obviously to this week's game, and in terms of obviously Brighton have got a new manager, how has your assessment of that been? Did you kind of just look at the one game they played against Tottenham, was that like your assessing point, or did you kind of look at the game going past the game?
Mainly, I think they played 2, both Liverpool and Tottenham, and so we obviously looked at these 2. Then I'm looking always more on the manager. So I look more on Roberto. I think he's done a very, very good job in Sassuolo. Fantastic. Shakhtar also fine, but I think it was the Sassuolo job that is the most impressive. So of course he inherits a good squad, good team, well drilled team, and now he needs to put his own ideas in. I think it's an interesting signing into the Premier League, very, very interesting. But we know what Brian will come with. They'll try to dominate possession, try to be flexible, and we need to be able to close that down.
Brian always had a difficult week with the immediate retirement of the midfielder and after he found out his underlying heart condition. I just wanted to know if you heard about that.
Yeah, I heard about that, and in many ways when it's dependent, but I was devastated because that was not his preferred option, 100% not. He wanted to be a footballer. I don't know him, but I expect that if you're a footballer and you're in your best age, then you want to play football. So I know it's hard, but the flip side, or the worst case scenario, we experienced that here in the club with Rob, that they didn't found or not enough aware of a heart conditioning thing. So I think it's for him it's fantastic they found out, because football is one thing, and it's a beautiful sport, and it makes a lot of people happy a lot of time. But the most important thing is family and friends, and you're gonna have another good life.
Lovely. And I also want to ask your Brentford or non-executive director that's just been confirmed as being the FA inclusion lead, so it's going to be the chair of the FA Inclusion Diversity Board. I guess for a club like Brentford that's based in West London, where there's a huge diverse community, how important is that for the club?
Very important. In general, but of course from Brentford perspective, diversity is key. I think it's important that we embrace the world and all people in it, and make everyone welcome. I try to do it on a personal note every single day, but we all need to do it.
Amazing. And just lastly, it's been a couple of years since, well, this month will officially be, I guess, 4 years since you officially became head coach here at Brentford. Reflecting on that time period, obviously not very long because we don't have a long time, but how have you found, I know you've got a huge love for the club and the community, but has it been how you expected it to be?
Yeah, I would say it's been more. Definitely more. Sometimes you go into a job and you have dreams and ambitions, but you never know if you're going to achieve them. But I think you're right. It's we could sit here for hours to talk about the journey we've been on, but it's been a remarkable, unbelievable journey with a lot of ups and downs, but mainly ups. We, and I mean we, me, my staff, everyone working at the club, the fans, the players, have together created some magic moments that forever will be history in Brentford, in Brentford history, and I'm very proud to be part of that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Roger.
Hi Thomas, how are you doing?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Can I ask how your squad is? Players, any injuries coming back? I know there were a few last time. Norgard, Janssen, Lewis Potter. What sort of condition are they in?
Yeah, 2 will still remain sidelined at Pontus and Norgard. The good news is that Lewis Potter is available for selection. Now just need to decide if he needs to be in the squad or not.
After the last game, you just talked about it just then, but your comments afterwards, you said, well, you used words like you were fuming, you felt like you might explode and so on like that, but you also said you were absolutely convinced that the team would bounce back. What is it about this squad that convinces you that they'll bounce back from a defeat like that?
First, I think good teams, they bounce back from a big defeat or a bad performance, and I've seen that us bouncing back several times over the years, because unfortunately we are not City or maybe not Liverpool most time, or City or Arsenal at the moment in time, or Tottenham that are winning 8 out of 10 games and drawing 1 and maybe losing 1. So sometimes we will have to bounce back. But I also think that I show the true character in a person or a team, and working with these players, some of them for more than 4 years, is an incredible group of players, and they grow together, and we develop as a team and a squad. And I can just see them. I can see the frustration and anger in their eyes after the game on Saturday, and the determination and the energy they come in with in this week.
So they'll bounce back. If you look back to the beginning of the season, some of the results that people will point to the Manchester United result in particular. Since the results haven't been so good for a while, when does that become a concern?
I think I can't remember our last. Definitely our last 3 games, but I think before that we won against Leeds. So we won 5-2 against Leeds. Then we met maybe the team in form Arsenal, lost 3-0. Where I actually think we've done a lot of good things, but they are just flying. Then fine-ish performance against Bournemouth, 0-0 away. Kept a clean sheet for the first time in 19 games, decent. And then this, I would call it a freak game against Newcastle, because we're never going to make and that will be never, I mean that, a own goal and 2 big individual mistake in the same game again. That'll maybe take 100 years of Brentford history before that will happen again, hopefully. So that's a freak one. So for me, there's bits and underlying bits I always try to improve, and we will come flying out tomorrow. I'm not in doubt of that.
You talked before about Brighton's new manager, Roberto De Zerbi. Interesting situation with him. Normally, or very often, a manager's coming in because the previous manager's been sacked because things haven't been going so well. He's come in and taken over a team that was doing very well under Graham Potter, that was very settled in terms of a squad. Does that make it slightly more difficult for him to come in and put his own imprint on the team, put his own ideas across? Is it easier for him just to keep doing what they've been doing?
Yeah, but I hope they have done their good homework. The board or the owner from Brighton, I'm convinced that which they have shown over the years, that they have done good football, or they have been running a good football business. So they have hired him because of his trademarks in terms of also want to play progressive football, possession based and aggressive going forward. But coming back to that, I understand it's in some ways it must be quite nice. You're coming into a well-run machine, and we can just maybe try to keep most of that running well, and then over time, then of course add a bit of bit of his own idea, because no coach are the same. We all have small bits that are very important for us. So I think he's privileged to come into a well-run club and a well-run team, and I think we'll be fine.
Can I ask you about Saman Ghoddos being away with Iran? There's a lot going on back in Iran. Is the club doing anything to look after him? Does he need support, or is he just carrying on as normal? Are you addressing the situation at all back in his own country?
Yeah, of course we speak to him, and we're aware of that. That's the most important thing we can do. So we try to do that with all our players, no matter where they're coming from, of course. But of course there are more, how can you say, tricky situations in depending on the countries.
Is that something that he's addressed? Has he spoken to you about it, or spoken to the team, educated the team on what's happening there?
No, I know he's speaking to his teammates about general things in general, and I just try to have a conversation like with all players, and then you get more, how can you say, feedback from them about the different situations.
Is it something you take into consideration with selection? With something that's going on perhaps externally for a player, and give thought to that?
Yeah. You know, in the worst case, if there are very big personal stuff going on for a player, sometimes it can be good maybe to rest them, or in other situation, maybe when they're coming in, that's where they find their free space, where they can just be a footballer and not think about all the difficulties they are maybe facing at home or in their country. You're welcome.
Sure.
Hi Thomas, I just wanted to ask you about David Ray. I think he's obviously been such a key part of what Brentford have done these last few years. How much would last weekend have hurt him? Obviously the mistakes for the early goals, and what sort of reaction have you seen this week from David Ray?
I think any good goalkeepers, they because if you're a goalkeeper, you need to get used to that you make mistakes once in a while, or you don't save it, or maybe almost put it into your own goal, or make a mistake like David did here. I think one of his biggest strengths is his ability in games, from training to training, to move on quickly and don't get affected by it. And I think that's a key thing as a footballer in general, even more important as a goalkeeper. And also, maybe he didn't play it short the next 3 passes in the game, but second half he did it again. And I think that's key. It's like when you're falling over on the bike, you need to get up and then you move forward again.
And this weekend he's going to be facing his competitor, I guess, head-to-head with Robert Sanchez. They're both in the recent training squad, so I guess from his own point of view, it's probably a good game to try and bounce back with Luis Enrique probably watching on. Yeah,
hopefully Luis Enrique is watching, and hopefully David is doing fantastic and keeping a clean sheet, and that's a hope. I think Luis Enrique is a privileged manager, a lot of good goalkeepers and players in general.
And just finally from me, I mean, a little bit away from Brentford, Guardiola said on Tuesday that the games are just making it so hard for the players, the actual game schedule and early part was so tight. I think he described it. Brentford not playing as many games as the top 6, but is it a concern for you this period with so many games before the World Cup and player welfare, and just kind of think about that when it comes to playing the same players every week?
I understand where you come from. I think we've not been that pushed. I think we only play once a week, more or less. This is the week where we're playing Friday, Wednesday, Sunday. There's an decent gap between games, and then we have a cup game before City actually, and then there's the World Cup break. But I think the not top 6, but all the clubs that are playing in Europe, they of course have a very intense program. But the good thing is that I can say that we did it because in the COVID season where we got promoted, we, Brentford, were in January the team in the world that played the most games. And I agree, it put pressure on the players and is relentless, but at that stage in the world we played the most game.
Yep.
Thomas, in regards to Friday and what happened last week, is a home game against Brighton under the lights almost like a perfect scenario to, as you say, bounce back, to come flying out, the start that Brighton have, the atmosphere that the G-Tech creates for an evening game? Is that almost a perfect scenario?
Yeah, I would say definitely home game under the floodlights at G-Tech Stadium is hopefully a big advantage for us. We know the fans are amazing. It's up to us to also create energy so we can bounce and the energy off each other and come flying out. I think that's extremely important. I think Brighton is a very good team. So no matter if we face Brighton, Wolverhampton, or Chelsea, Arsenal, whatever, it didn't matter. We have to come out and bounce back. I understand where you come from in terms of style of play and so on, but home game under the floodlights, very important.
Goals are also important as well. Another factor in, I know the opponents in the last 3 games, but also just 1 goal in those 3 games as well. So obviously from the attacking players, and I suppose for myself as well, that's something that you would have liked to see more of.
Yeah, 100%. No doubt. I think the last 3 games. Yeah, let's take 3 games. I think we should have been creating a tiny bit more, little bit more sharpness. But before that, I think we scored, 15 goals, something like that, and were one of the highest goal scorers in the league, which is quite remarkable from our perspective. But shows that we also have the quality in the squad. So, you know how it is in the season. It goes a little bit up and down, and sometimes you're just scoring for fun, and suddenly you can't score, and it happens to everyone except from Holland. Everyone else needs to have periods where they're not scoring goals.
Yeah, he had a drought last week, took 65 minutes to get a goal.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
And just finally for me, Sergi was on the bench last week. I know he's had huge. I spoke to him last week. I mean, he's a player who's obviously always chomping at the bit to be playing. What does he bring when he's involved with the first team and availability? Not just obviously from a playing point of view, but just from a personal point of view. What does he bring to your squad?
He brings personality to the squad, no doubt about that. High energy, quality, also on the pitch when he can drive the ball forward and creating good situations, crosses, chances, and hopefully scoring goals. But definitely there is something, bit of personality when he walks on the pitch, and the fans love him, and he brings energy to them. So I'm pleased that he's available again for selection.
Anything else before we go on to Braga? Jay?
Yeah, hi Thomas.
Hi Jay.
I think it was your birthday the other day, so if that's right, happy birthday for the other day.
It was my birthday the day after the Newcastle game, so probably I should have said to the players that you maybe should have been aware of that, okay?
Yeah, you should have given you the present.
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask a couple more about a few players. I know Thomas Strakosha's not been involved for the last couple of weeks. Just wanted to know what was going on there.
He made an unbelievable penalty save and was very unfortunate to get injured with an ankle ligament injury in training. So he's out for some weeks.
And just on Norgard as well, I know you said he's not going to be available again. I think he's been out for about 6 or 7 weeks now. So has he needed surgery, or is he going to be back anytime soon? What's the?
Yeah, no surgery. He's on the grass running now, which is very positive. So we hope we'll go in the right direction.
So you're still quite confident he'll be back before, around November time?
Yeah, quite confident about that.
Yeah, that's everything.
Yeah. Okay.
Right, we'll now go under embargo. Everything now is for 10:30 PM this evening for tomorrow's papers. Isabel, do you want to go?